Órale, muchachos! Cinco de Mayo is the victory over the French in the Franco-Mexican War. It's not the independence of Mexico per se, but it is one of the first times that the Mexicans have gotten a victory over the Pale Faces. And probably their only true victory until the discovery of tacos. So why was there another war? Unlike the start of any argument in history ever, it was about money. Because Mexico wasn't doing so hot, they decided to ask their European friends for help. Because that always ends well, asking for money. Looking at you, sister of mine. If you're anything a country like Mexico at the time, with no real grasp on your own management skills, you don't want to mess with a continent that's been exploring for the last 2 centuries. However, from what my sources say, Cinco de Mayo isn't celebrated very heavily in the homeland. Just like with the 4th of July in America, it just isn't a big thing. Wait, but here in America, it's a much bigger deal. Commemorating Mexican culture, giving pride to people's roots, and reminding people that while avocados do look scary to some, it's a Mexican delicacy that people have liked for centuries. And what about that guac, man? More to follow. In America, as Abraham Lincoln was being sworn in, Mexico was well on its way to being the safe country we know today. What? It is a safe country. To give more context on the country's long history, you've heard of the Mayan Empire, that ambiguous topic you remember researching in middle school history class and then completely forgot about? Yeah, let's start there. They were an extremely powerful civilization that dominated most of Central America to include Guatemala and Mexico. Now, why am I telling you this? Besides their greatest accomplishment of scaring the crap out of people thousands of years posterior, they gave us great forms of writing, agriculture, math, pottery, and people know I like my pot. Just like later in 1861, they couldn't get their internal shit together and they collapsed like a 4,000-year-old cheap suit. So it presents the unavoidable conclusion that while you may have good intentions and hope for spreading your empire and your greatness around the world, it's just not gonna work out. It's gonna collapse. It's just gonna come crashing down. As my good friend Mr. Smith said, it is inevitable. It is inevitable. Speaking of greatness, my next point of order, avocados. They taste good. They have good nutrition. They look cool, contrary to what Martin Friedman says.
Every time I have an avocado, every time I cut through an avocado and I see the stone, I envisage that stone being lodged in my windpipe. And every time, I think I physically go,
I'm bringing this up because it just so happens that the one ingredient that is from my family's birthplace and also the one ingredient you should always order at Subway is avocados. They are the largest distributors and manufacturers. Now, there have been some evidence that avocados have dated back 10,000 years ago, which is arguably a little bit older than Subway. While I understand why a sandwich shop was named after a submerged train station, I'm not sure why it's called avocado. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I'm just getting information out. Okay, avocado does in fact mean testicle in Aztec. Huh. As Michoacan is the largest producer of testicles in the world. As always, with European exploring, Catholicism was introduced and people were persuaded to work for the Spanish in mining for gold. Surprise, surprise, as the state's primary industries now are mining, farming, and tourism. Wow, that's right on the nose, isn't it? The main language back then was the Purepecha language, which is said to have been shared with Peru and are distant relatives of the Incas. Now you probably have no interest in what I'm saying, or maybe you do since you've been watching for this long. Thanks Dave, thank you John. What's more important is how we learn from the past in order to affect our future. So with part of my family being from Mexico, I just recently took a big interest in Mexican history and Central America in general. Some of the most interesting aspects of human civilizations have taken place in Central America. Believe me, just watch Apocalypto. That's some stone cold hard facts there, muchachos. It's not? This subject is one that hits pretty close to home for me, so if you liked it, comment your thoughts on Mexican history. If you liked it, hate it, or just want to school me on some historical facts. If you want to talk about guacamole, tacos, burritos, anything at all, anything, I welcome it. And consider subscribing to see more content. See ya! Cut. Alright, time to bust into some avocados. Are we still rolling?